quick on the heels of that, social anxiety is through the roof right now.
Yeah.
And it comes on the heels of social distancing and masks and stay at home. And I'm thinking probably over in China right now, the social anxiety has got to be horrific because people are no longer interacting with people. The people are isolated. And I understand that. But in my private practice, the upsurge in alcohol consumption and the downers, marijuana, the benzodiazepine, Xanax, Klonopin, all of those guys, the upsurge is incredible. If you're going to buy stock, you might want to go to benzodiazepines because the social anxiety issues are horrific. So, Ethan, what you're talking about, join us off. We have got to re-socialize. And I know that we're getting a little off track with this, but what you said is got to be taken into account. And then what happens is, then now that things are opening up, here's what I'm seeing. This is not a book off the shelf. What I'm seeing is that people are now re-socializing. They're going to happy hours. And what do you do at a happy hour? You're going to have a drink or two, right? How many do you usually have? Because you're so happy to see your buddies again. People are getting drunk. They're drinking too much. And then and the first thing that goes when you drink too much is what? Reasoning, your judgment. Oh, I could make it home. Yeah, I did it before. And people are getting pulled over because I've been seeing a lot of DUIs in my caseload, and people that are good people didn't realize that they were socially anxious and that they needed to drink a little more in order to feel at ease at the happy hour. I know that's kind of a, but that is an embodiment of the fact that we need to change our treatments and our modalities with the changes that are happening in our society and in the community and in the world. I mean, things are radically different. And you go to any treatment program, and what is it? He's still doing it the same old way.
Well, that's it. And there's this, for me, there's a sense of urgency to get this done, the post-COVID, because, like you say, the anxiety in a meter is the needle's pinned, and it's not like it was even 5 years ago. I just see it in day-to-day people with, especially with younger, the millennial 20, 30 somethings. It's been really socially disruptive for everybody, but for especially that age group. And I think the game has changed too. And that's the advent of fentanyl. Yep. And fentanyl is a silent killer, and it touched people that I know, and it's no joke. It's no game. It's not funny. It's not worth it. And you don't even know it's coming. And so that is why we need, I would like for you to, give us some serious thought as to being a program, this kind of program, or our program, or another program to make that step to manage the sobriety, because now it's not how funny and you can deal with it later. It's today. It's now, and you can't start too soon to make that choice to make a positive step. In the end, you have to make the first step, right? That to go, and I would encourage you to really consider this program, Neil's program, and Ethan's. He's the program director. It's easy. It's easy to manage. It'll work better, and will help you every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know that we've directly mentioned it here yet today, but it is a remote program. I mean, this program has gone through several iterations since its initial conception, 4 years ago, as Jim mentioned, and it looks drastically different today. But how it looks today is in response to this post-COVID, epidemic, pandemic, and we have a remote program so that we open it up for clients to go through everything we're talking about, with the accountability, with the structure, with everything mentioned today, to go through that from home, so you can go through your day-to-day life. Traditionally, programs, you're spending 3 to 6 hours at a facility a week at least. If you are in the program because of a DUI, you don't have your driver's license. So you're having somebody drive you around, you're being Ubered around. It becomes very difficult to make work at the end of the day, because you're trying to juggle all of this around. You have to juggle it all around, especially if you're facing legal consequences, because you don't, and you're going to end up in jail. So we have opened it up to be a little more convenient, a little more friendly in that sense.
Let me jump in. I'm sorry, Ethan, because I feel, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Tell us a little about the pretrial diversion.
Well, hang on. Before that,
Yep.
gas is $6 a gallon.
Yeah.
You're going to meetings. What's it costing you to do that? I mean, it may sound trivial, but it isn't. It's expensive. I just drove the Laguna Hills and back in my Ford Explorer, and I think I'm
$12 now.
12
$12 lighter.
$12 lighter, and I'm thinking, dang! I went down there to see one client, really like her. She's very nice, but I'm looking at her. It cost me $12 to come down here today.
It's insane.
Plus the half-hour trip in each direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no small issue that this is a remote program that you can do in your underwear at home if you want to.
Yeah. Please wear a shirt for the meetings.
Yeah, please wear a shirt for the meetings. Yes, thank you. But the other aspect of the remote program is that you can do it on vacation. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it at Aunt Ellie's in San Francisco if you need to go up there. You can do every expected component of this program
Wherever you have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, wherever you have a Wi-Fi connection to a telephone, to a smartphone, to a computer, or to whatever. And I'm telling you, it does not matter that you're not sitting in a room with 10 or 11 or 12 other people. It may be better for you because the guy sitting next to you might cough up a COVID ball on your lap or something.
Yeah.
Sorry for the image, but I'm just saying. Now, look, there's something to be said for social interaction and contact. But this program actually allows more contact because you're in contact with the counselor almost on a daily basis with your SUDS, depending on what your agreement is. You're having an individual counseling session with a therapist regarding the issues that you need to address in order to make cognitive and behavioral changes. You're doing Zoom and or HealthNet, not HealthNet, but telehealth type of groups and that sort of thing. And they've shown that there's really no difference in social benefit from those type of contacts. And so there is an enormous amount of interpersonal contact, which really does help with the social anxiety issues and that sort of thing. But the beauty of it is it's more effective than any program I've ever seen. On the program that I developed before, where we didn't have the accountability that Jim brings to the table, we still had like a 93% sobriety rate that we could show. And we did with thousands and thousands of days of statistics. At one point, we had over 80 people, as you know, because you ran the program. We had over 80 people in the program. It was the most program, and it was highly effective. There is that percentage of people that agreed to do it that really didn't know how comprehensive the accountability was. At the time, that was the most accountable of any program that I knew of because it monitored 24/7 your alcohol and or substance input. But now we've almost doubled up on that accountability with what Jim brings to the table.
More so.
And so, and if I can, you might think, God, all that accountability, that must really make people uptight. The opposite happens. When you take a drug addicted person who, let's say, has some tendencies toward manipulation and control, even a dash of sociopathy every now and then or whatever, they are almost compelled to try to get away with something. Compelled, mandated, because you're not going to go down easy, even though you've agreed and signed all the papers and you're willing to pay the money for the program and all of that. There is a need in people to rebel against stuff that they don't think is their idea or that they don't perceive as their idea. What we found with the program, as I had it set up before, I had people coming out of prison saying, "This is great." And I go, "Why?" Because I don't have to try.
I don't have those choices.
Yeah. I don't have, I know, he said, it's like being in a jail cell. I know I'm not going to go out in suntan at the beach today, so I can make my plans for what I can do today, which might be reading a book and doing some push-ups. You know what I'm saying? People are relaxed. The anxiety goes down when they have boundaries that are very well established. And this program establishes those boundaries. I think, Ethan, at one point you tried to beat the Scram unit with bologna and with charcoal and with the Eye of Newt or something, man. But I remember you tried everything you could to see if you could beat the Scram. That was some years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years back, if I remember. And I don't believe you beat it.
I did not.
And so for a young man with the bologna smell and charcoal all over his leg, it was an experiment well conducted.
Right. So our stairs that were based on are all court proven methods, you know, with lots of years of practice, the Scram, the farm chem patch, and all these elements where, you know, we're standing on the shoulders, we're taking we don't have to reinvent something new. We're just assembling those for the.
But the value add is that the gatekeepers are the people who have some concerns about person B's sobriety has almost instant access to information as to how they're doing in the program, both quantitatively, you know, and qualitatively, because of the SUDS program and whatever else is available. And remember, the codes for access to that information are very protected, but they are given with
well, yeah, it's all HIPAA
information
compliant. It's information releases, consent forms.
Well, and this was designed with the thought in mind that a probation officer, if he had 200 clients that he was tracking, he could do it all from his laptop and see where all 195 of them were, and just focus his energies on those 5 people that hadn't checked in or didn't have their data in place.
Right.
That hadn't checked in and were doing what they say, rather than making 1,000 phone calls and people getting lost in the wind.
Right.
And so we're trying to make all this personnel and time and energy and money and thought and caring work smoother, so it's effective when we're focusing on people that need the most help at the right time, and not let them slip off at the end of the forest for 90 days,
right,
when they need help today within the next hour, 2 hours, 2 weeks.
Right. So the accountability and all of the check measures are in place to protect the person from themselves.
Right.
If you think
give them the tools to help protect themselves. Their decision they made to go down this road.
Yeah. Because the typical relapse is preceded by 2 famous words. The first one starts with the letter F, and I won't go through the whole word. And the second word is it.
Yeah.
And that's where the relapse shortly thereafter comes, especially when the person doesn't feel that they're going to be caught or apprehended.
Right.
Yeah.
Those 2 words tend not to happen very often when you're all monitored up, even if you're out running free. And that's my goal, is to take those 2 words out of that relapse potential, because that's my experience as to when people go downhill. So
yeah, well, and what's really cool about the program, and again going back to the remote components of the program, is the clients have the freedom to live their lives and do what they want. Like we mentioned earlier, you can go on vacation, but you can't drink on this vacation. We'll know if you drink on this vacation.
Correct.
So you're going to have to go on vacation and figure out some alternatives to having a good time, to enjoying yourself. But that's going to force that mindset, and it's going to almost teach you in a semi-philosophical way how you can go into different environments and find new ways to enjoy yourself. If drinking was always the primary goal, everywhere you went, you drank, and then you figured out what to do afterwards. But now you don't have that first step. So you just have to figure out how you're going to enjoy yourself. Go on vacation. We encourage you to go on vacation, to go have fun, to go face these triggers. Because if you do slip up, we're going to know, we're going to see, and we're going to intervene. But it's not very likely it's difficult to slip up, because you are being monitored and because you do have a hammer hanging over your head. And so it forces that train of thought to change and to shift from the first thing being, where do I go to drink, to the first thing being, where do I go to have fun? And that change just kind of cascades and transforms. Transforms the way you think.
Right. In the end of your 90 days or 180 days or however long you need to be in the program, when you you'll have lots of those 90 days or a year in your environment at your pace with your program, you know, and new habits and new playgrounds, and you're going in your own life, not move from one environment that's not you, an artificial bubble, going into something else.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's kind of the beauty of this program. It's as complicated as it sounds from the client's perspective, it's very simple. It is very simple. You stay sober, you talk to your therapist, you create treatment goals, and you have an influence in your treatment goals, because what works for you works for you. That there's not some list of these are the 10 treatment goals you need to give to every client.
Exactly.
It's what works for you works for you. So you have a say in that. And then you reach your treatment goals, you progress through the program, you go to your meetings, you stay sober, and you live your life. And that's the program from the client's perspective. I mean, there's a lot going on the back end on our end, but that's not really your concern, as long as you're maintaining, you know, proper treatment. You're hitting those steps, and that's kind of the beauty here. It's a combination of everything.
Yeah, it'll be up to you, but we're going to give you a fighting chance to get there and help you get to that goal that you want to get.
And then once you get there, what happens is this. What happens is everybody is given the same treatment plan. Everybody goes to the same lecture. People tend to get the same counseling protocol. People tend to have the same treatment plans pre-printed and put in their chart, so that you just do a check mark. What is not taken into account is individual differences. Like you just said, Ethan, you get 10 people, you've got 10 different personalities. You've got 10 different diagnostic situations, but you've got the same treatment plan in the file. You've got the same lecture that everybody's going to go to. You've got it's one size fits all. It is. And then when there's failure, when there's somebody dropping out or somebody's relapsing, whose fault is it? It's always the patient's fault, right? They just weren't motivated.